This is for the committee sub.
The committee sub.
That was the motion.
Is there a second on the committee sub? Second. Okay. I will have a motion and a second. Don, explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm sure you all will be brief. But House Resolution 1791, basically, I know, as you all are aware, we worked on this on this committee on as far as annexation bills this year and other legislative issues concerning county, ACCG, and municipalities and counties. And basically what this resolution does is it just, one, it commends them for coming together and creating the Council of Local Governments to address the areas of conflict and ask them to come together and resolve those issues. Because if you'll see on page 1, line 14, it kind of reminds them that whenever we get involved as a General Assembly, there's often confusion and duplication of services. And the best place for local issues to be resolved is at the local area. As you've seen, there are definitely it adds in the wording about that will specifically address annexation, and that it is our request that these organizations, ACCG, GMA, and the Council of Local Governments, will be able to come together and have legislation that will resolve these problems by the 07 General Assembly session. So if there are any questions.
Here we have a motion and a second. Did anybody want to make a comment? Anybody want to speak to this?
You can.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm Lamar Norton. I represent the Georgia Municipal Association, and we have worked with Ms. Sheldon and Representative Meadows on this, and we commend them for what they're doing, and we're going to do our best to make it a reality and bring you something that addresses any problems we've got.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, Jim Grubiak with the County Commissioners Association, and I too want to thank the committee and thank Representative Sheldon and Meadows for working on this particular proposal. It's something we appreciate the acknowledgement that there is an issue, and we too will work with Municipal Association diligently and look forward to this time next year when we can claim problem solved, I think is the objective. So thank you very much.
Everybody in harmony and peace. Okay, motion and second. All we're operating off of the committee substitute, House Resolution 1791. I might have no 6 on it. Everybody's got a no 6. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The bill carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
Let me say that it was the chair's intent to probably appoint a subcommittee, Ms. Shelton chairing that, Representative Shelton chairing that over the interim to look into some of these issues. And any of y'all have a particular interest in it and serve on that subcommittee,
Which subcommittee is it?
if you will let Mr. Ward Lamb know that now or afterwards. Ma'am? It was on the House Resolution 1791 by Representative Sheldon, urging the community and urging.
No, I want to hold it. I need to be on that.
Okay. All right. All right. Next is Senate Bill 202. Vice Chairman Guyson.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend do that.
I will second that, Mr. Chairman.
Two pass and a second.
Absolutely.
Mr.
Chairman.
You're out of order, Mr. Lackey.
That's probably unusual.
Fine legislation.
We have. All right. Mr. Wild Fox, you have a seat up here with us.
I can lean up here. I was laying here.
What did I do, leave my glasses there?
You go ahead.
I'll present it. What I was wondering is where I put my glasses.
You want to borrow mine?
I may have to. If they're not laying up there, I must have left them back. No, I've got them right here. Here they are. I knew I had them. That's right. Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 202 is a housekeeping bill. And as stewards of the tax dollars, this is good government legislation. It requires the regional development centers, the authorities, and the school boards to have the same reporting requirements as cities and county governments. Grant certification is required to be filed with every grant every year as long as the grant is still in existence. It affects the governor's emergency fund dollars and the local assistance grants, which most of us have filed for this year. The cost of the audit, because that's what we're asking for, is an audit to assure that the dollars were spent as stated, will be borne out by the grant not to exceed 2% of the grant or $250 per audit. Mr. Chairman, if there are no questions.
I believe you've got one from Michelle. What is number 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Michelle, go ahead.
Since this is my legislation originally, Mr. Wiles, I happen to have been the one that worked on this for 3 years trying to get it passed for the counties. And I guess you think it's very good legislation to have decided it should also pertain to school boards and regional developments and authorities. Are there any changes other than adding regional development authorities, centers, authorities, and school boards at all? Is there any change at all in this bill with any reporting aspects of this at all?
Would you clarify what you're saying? Any reporting aspects?
You have the 2%, you have the $250, whichever is less. I want to make sure that the audits can still be internal audits.
They can be under
They don't have to be
$5,000.
external? Okay, do they have to be external under 5,000, or can they be certified by whoever the school board or whatever uses?
The author may want to speak to that, but
It did, Mr. Chairman, if I could, it simply adds the new groups that are in. It doesn't change the existing law other than in that section, except to call it unit of local government. So
If you don't mind about joining here, so our Mr. Loud and Computer Land,
glad to.
they might be interested in this too, especially some of these boards of education.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, it's those sections of your original bill aren't changed. It's just we're adding new folks that have to do it. But the same standards of what the new folks have to do are the same standards as the other people had to do it.
I just wanted to confirm that, everyone was being held to the same standard. We worked very hard on this for 3 long years in trying to get it through.
I appreciate that. And it took us, we introduced it last year in the Senate, and it sat for a full year, and no one came and talked about it. But in deference, we let it sit for a whole year, giving everybody that have problems with it before I even let it out of my committee. So and no one came and opposed it in committee, and no one opposed it on the floor. No one offered any amendments. And I think it's just, like you said, Representative Geisinger says, good government. Yours bill was a good bill, and this just makes it a little better.
I do have wonderful bills, don't I?
You do.
John is our counterpart over on the Senate side. He chairs the same committee over on the Senate. Let's let him vote.
Let's vote.
What's the job he does? He also includes local bills in case any of y'all have any over there.
And if you do have local bills, I would urge you come over and tell your senators to ask me for it, because I've got pages and pages of House bills and no one's asking. And except from Representative Henson.
Mr. Clemens, you got anything you want to add? Y'all stay up there. If y'all got any other questions with Harry or John? You got anything you want to say?
The department supports the bill. We appreciate favorable consideration.
I think we're just trying to keep everybody honest and everybody on the same page. Cities and counties already have to do this, so why shouldn't school boards and authorities do it? They just bring about conformity. Okay, we got a motion and a second on Senate Bill 202. All those in favor say aye. All opposed? Bill carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
John?
I tell you, this is I got your bill on the transportation calendar.
Good.
You and he are.
Oh, I know. He is really pissed.
So it went